welcome. It's me, the host of the What's on Sports podcast. Well, O'Connor here. We're here, episode 73. And I just want to say, I don't want to ever see another send-off in Origin. That's my thing. I am saying no more send-offs. Today we're going to recap Origin 1, Game 1, what it was. Devastating it was if you're a Queensland supporter. Obviously, I'm not in my Maroons gear, but I will be back in my Maroons gear next week. Don't you worry about that. But not in my Maroons gear today. I'm in my Raiders gear because the milk got up, and you know me, I am one of the biggest milk supporters in the country, maybe even the world. But look, would have loved Queensland to get it done. Didn't go our way. That's all right. But today we'll talk about Origin first, get that off the chest. We'll then go to our round 13 recap and then talk about round 14. And then that's what I got for the week. And then, yeah, it'll be next week's. First of all, before we dive in, I want to apologise last week. I know there was some audio errors with the podcast last week. I am 95% sure that I've sorted it out this time. I did a pre-recording, and when I played the recording back this time, I definitely didn't have any audio issues. There was no echoing. So if it echoes, please let me know. It was good that you guys let me know. It allowed me to right my wrongs, if that makes sense. But we're here for a new week. And look, all I got to say is, what was Origin? No more send-offs. Let's dive into it. Queensland dominating from the get-go. We were strong. We were very, very strong. Got to the scoreline of 20-0 at halftime. Feeling very, very confident, thinking we might put 40 on it. I think it was 20-0 at halftime. Potentially 20-6. But as a Queensland fan, it was incredible. I was loving every moment of it. And it all went wrong so quick. It went down so quick. Yeah. So halftime, we're up by 14, 20-6. At one stage, it was 20-0. And I had gone so up the series now, it's done. Goodbye. I don't have to worry about what all these New South Wales people have. They're all hating on Queensland because we're so good. Oh, damn. My confidence got shattered after that. Offensively, we dominated that first 20-30 minutes of the game, and then we switched from dominating the offense to just pure defense. And we defended really well. Only let one try come through. And that was Hudson Young's, maybe Ethan Strange's try. One of the Raiders boys scored first. We just really did not give him the chance to come into our own 20, our own 40 really. And Queensland their defense in the second half was so good for that first 20 minutes. Well, even longer than that 20 minutes, to be honest. But Kalen Ponga, with 23 minutes left, gets sent off. We won't talk about that. I just want to mention there has been similar head clashes and shoulder-on-head contact that didn't even warrant a sin bin on the weekend. Where is the consistency? Where is the consistency, Ashley Klein? Where is the consistency, the NRL bunker? Where is the consistency, the NRL? Let's have a look at that. Like, let you guys have a look at that and go, wow, we stuffed up. That's all right. But it was a joke. It was of a send-off. It should have been a sin bin. 100% should have been a sin bin. Andrew Johns thinks the same, and he is bleeding blue every day of the year. But Queensland, they were just so switched on, and they looked polished. Robert Toya, our centres is so strong. Hammer, Robert Toya, Selwyn Cobbo was on fire. Not much from Jojo Fafita. It'll be interesting to see if he stays into the side. Also, Cam Munster, very quiet all game. Very quiet. He got pumped by Ethan Strange. You all saw that tackle. I saw that tackle. And it just made me hate how I love Ethan Strange. And the fact that he's a New South Welshman. Hate that. Sam Walker, incredible. 9 out of 10 performance, I thought. Ethan Strange, probably a 9.5, not like between a 9 and a 10. Like if someone said Ethan Strange's performance was a 10 out of 10, a lot of people saying Nathan Cleary's performance is a 10 out of 10. He was not performing like a 10 out of 10 halfback until the last 15 minutes of the game. If that. He really didn't dominate that Origin stage until it was 13-12. I just wanted to point that out. The Raiders boys were carrying New South Wales on the back for 60 minutes. Hudson Young, Ethan Strange. Hudson Young was incredible for him. I just hate that I love those boys and they're all New South Welshmen and it just boils my blood. Like, I actually do enjoy seeing him play rep footy, but it sucks that it's against my rep footy team. They were incredible. They both scored tries. And honestly, Ethan Strange just owned that Origin field. He made that arena his own. He should have got man of the match. I'm sorry to all the Cleary Glazers. I do not think his performance was man of the match winning. I understand that what he did in the last 20 minutes was incredible, but it was against 12 men and he did not do a lot for 60 minutes where a lot of people are going, oh, but Cleary, he might have not done this. It was because of the people around him. But you look at Ethan Strange and he had a standout performance for pretty much the whole 80 minutes, I'd say. The best part of 80 minutes, like Ethan Strange was so switched on at all times. And he was the only New South Wales player that was for the full 80, I reckon. Yes, he came up with a couple errors. Yes, that did happen. But he didn't wait around. He didn't wait around for Cleary to do something. He didn't wait around for the centres around him to do something. He made stuff happen for New South Wales. Simple terms, Kalen Ponga stays on. Queensland dominate Origin Game 1. It's a breeze in the park. Go home to Ackle. Oh, wait, we're already there. We're already at your home ground. You get pumped, but it didn't happen because KP did get sent off. We now head to the G. We head to the MCG, the home of AFL, heartland of AFL, and we're going there with the heartland, with the roaming heartland of rugby league, and that is State of Origin. We'll talk about that in a second, but it's do or die for Queensland. That's it. Which I think we like. We won't go down 2 in a row, like as in two games in a row. We won't do that. And you know what? We won't do that because we'll win. Because special announcement, you've heard it here first. The What's Not Sports podcast is going to Melbourne. We are going to Melbourne and we are going to enjoy State of Origin at the G. Yep, I'm headed to the G to watch State of Origin and then a couple of days later watch the Storm versus Raiders game also down in Melbourne. Stuff I do for podcast content. It's expensive. But no, in all seriousness, I'm super excited for game 2 because I just know Queensland will win. There's nothing. It'll be unreal. There's nothing stopping them. The only thing that Queensland can't do is clean sweep. Like, if we're going to win the series, it's just not going to be a clean sweep now. And that's, look, a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. We'll put on a dominant performance at the MCG. Yes, we will see some changes to the Queensland side. Carrigan's out with an injury. Syndesmosis takes another casualty. I can't believe that. It's just rampant through the group of NRL players. So he could even be out for game 3. Gemma Shibasaki, I think it's a PCL injury I saw. We won't see him on the extended bench. I wouldn't have been surprised if we saw him on the wing. So that really changes a few things. I doubt we see Jojo Fafita. Maybe we do, but he just was not there in Origin 1. I understand that's also part of the reason Kalen Ponga was sent off, so he wasn't able to drop back and defend as best as he could. But bing, bing, bing. This is recorded before team list drops on Tuesday. This is Tuesday. I'm recording this at 2 o'clock. Team list will drop at 4 p.m. So I've got no idea. But I was looking at the casualty reward, and I believe it is round 14 this week. Correct? Yes, it is correct. I'm looking at a certain someone that I don't think a lot of people have been thinking about. Xavier Coates, the X-Man. Not Xavier Savage. Xavier Savage is the X-Man. But Xavier Coates, X, round 14 return. Now, the Storm. Let's have a look. Who are the Storm playing? I've got it written down. The Storm have actually a tough game against Newcastle Knights. Yes, the Storm are the favourite. The Knights are currently in 4th on the ladder. Blows my mind that they're there. But this will be a serious test to see if the Storm is actually on point. And if we see Xavier Coates absolutely tear it up this weekend, he's in the Origin side with Selwyn Cobbo. That's my call. If that's not the case, I think we potentially see Reece Walsh come in on the wing. What do you guys think? He's quick, but he's a playmaker in the fact that he's got that X factor. That's my only thing. A role on the wing for him. It's just, I think it shies away out of his talent. It'll be interesting to see what happens. The Hammer and Robert Toya, they'll stick in the centres. They're as strong as rocks. They're our foundation, to be honest. Our spine, I don't see Billy dropping KP because KP was pretty good. Ponga was up until obviously the send-off. Harry Grant's. Cam Munster, he's got a lift now because Sam Walker absolutely lifted for game 1, so he can claim that Origin 7 jersey, that Queensland 7 jersey, and just say goodbye to, well, I wouldn't say it's his forever. He's got it on loan from Tom Dearden. But Jay Clifford out of the conversation now. Jamal probably not in the conversation unless Sam Walker gets injured. But Jamal, I still want to see my boy Jamal in there. But the performance Sam Walker put on debut, it rivaled Ethan Strange's debut performance. And I think those are the two best halves we've seen debut in Origin. I don't know, but it was just incredible from both of them, all honesty. So for now, for the Queensland, I think it'll be Sam Walker's jersey on loan, while Tom Dearden's in the recovery ward, in the injury ward. And look, I'm sorry, Mitch Moses, but you're probably never going to play 5'8" again for Origin for New South Wales. That number 6 jersey is now officially owned by Ethan Strange. If you want to come play, if you want to be a 5'8" for New South Wales, you better hope Ethan Strange gets injured, which he won't. Or you can just suck it up and play 7 when Cleary's injured. Those are your two options. I don't see a world where, unless crazy thought, but unless Ethan Strange shifts to the centres, but why would you do that when he was so good at 6? That's enough glazing from me for New South Wales. So yeah, we'll see some force changes. Overall, look, congratulations, New South Wales. You will be count your luck. Won't happen again. Yeah, simple as that. It won't happen again. And get ready for a thrashing at the G. I'll see you there. Will you be there? Because I'll be there. And guys, don't hate on me. I am wearing blue, but it's because of the Raiders. It's a Raiders jersey, I swear. See, Raiders logo. Raiders on, says Raiders there, I hope. So I'm not switching to the Blues. Trust me, I would rather just rather not. But that's Origin recap. If you want to talk more Origin, let me know. I'm more than happy to do that. Round 13, though. I had a bit of an interesting round here. Let's run through it. Sharks versus Manly, Knights versus Eels, Tigers, Dogs, Storm, Roosters, Broncos, Dragons. What a game. The Milk and Cowboys, Penrith versus the Wars, and that rounds it out. That's our 7 games for the minor buy round. Wow. A lot of close games. A lot of games that I enjoyed watching. And look, let's talk about it. Round 13, let's talk about it. So round 13. The Sharks beat Manly. I tipped Manly. Cronulla got it done. A really close game, 28-22. I tipped the Knights over the Eels, 28-22. 2 games in a row where we don't hit 30, but very close. West Tigers, Bulldogs. Had the Tigers tipped. We got that right. Tiger Town, baby. Lockie Galvin ain't got on them. He ain't got nothing on him. The Tigers must love beating the Bulldogs, especially with Lockie Galvin. Stephen Crichton giving lip to Lockie Galvin when he wanted a challenge. Galvin probably had a case there. But Critter, he was just like, shut up, man. I'm not challenging that. Is there a bit of heat back in the Bulldogs camp? That is the question. Is there heat in the Bulldogs camp? Critter now out with an injury, so that we see that shift. We'll see that shift in New South Wales. We'll wait and see on standby what happens there. Storm versus Roosters. I picked the Storm. I was like, they're back. They're back. People didn't believe me. They should have, because I was right, and the Storm won. Not just fun, dominated. 18-4 probably would have been more if Sewer could have converted goals, but who cares? He got 84 points in fantasy, so that's great. I probably should have had him captain. Broncos, Dragons. Broncos nearly close to having a full side, a full strength side. I honestly would say they did have a full strength side, but a few, like, look, Walsh, Karapani, Staggs, Shibasaki, Arthurs, Ezra Mann, Adam Reynolds, Preston Ricky, but probably not there. Corey Pakes, yeah, he's a backup for Billy Boxers. Like, Payne Haas was back, Brendan Piacora, Xavier Wilson, and Pat Carrigan. That's an awesome side. Ben Hunt on the bench, Ben Tatley on the bench, Varsimu and Jack Uwowski. I think that's how you pronounce it. But that was the interchange. That is a very strong Broncos side. It's probably one of the strongest sides that they've played since the starting rounds. The Dragons, they do the impossible. They get a win this season, nearly 300 days, and they finally get a win. So congratulations to all the Dragons fans out there. Lawsy, I know you're one of them. I did not have that tip on my... I didn't have the Dragons tip to ever win a game again, let alone against the 2025 Premiers at their hometown with the Wiggles playing at halftime. Honestly, if I knew the Wiggles were playing, I probably would have gone down and watched, just because I wasn't going down to watch the Dragons or the Broncos. But wow, that's incredible. The Dragons beat the Broncos. Oh, I love it. I love it. It actually makes me laugh. Brings a tear to my eye. Happy tears. Milk versus Cowboys. Milk put on an absolute clinic on the Cowboys. What can I say? Xavier Savage is back. 2 weeks back. And he's firing. He's got speed still. He is a quickster. Seb Chris now out. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Raiders lineup tonight when it drops. Do we see Jaden Brayley come back into the starting side? Because Dane Laurie was incredible at lock. Absolutely insane. Obviously, Tom Sterling, incredible hooker. Oh, and Paddy, he'll get there. Still needs to just build, but it's good to finally have him back on the side. Hopefully, he secures a spot on that bench at least. He's good for it, and we know that. Penrith versus Wars. That was a game. I genuinely think the Wars should have won. Play that call. I don't reckon that was the right call, but it is what it is. The Wars, I think they had 3 disallowed tries or something. That's ridiculous. They should have won that game, but they just didn't. Penrith are too good even without and Cleary. And yeah. Look, this is the first round that there has only been one game where the winning team has scored 30 points. Or like 30 points or more. You know what I mean? I've been harping on about that all year. Well, the last few weeks. It was the Broncos losing to the Dragons. Dragons were the only team to score 30 points this week and win. Oh, the Broncos. Look. When do we see... Let's just start. When do we see the Broncos win again? Never. Wear the black jersey. Okay, look. I'm pretty sure you know what actually is scary though? The Broncos were in the exact same position they were last year. If we go to the ladder, and I really wanted to point this out because I find this just crazy. I don't like this. Okay, after round 13, 2026, the Broncos have played 12 games. They have 12 points. 5 wins, 0 draws, 5 loss, and a bye. Hang on, is that right? I don't think so. Sorry. 5 wins, 7 loss, and 1 bye. And they're sitting on 12 points and they're 11th on the ladder. Now we go back to last season. After round 13. 12 games played. 5 wins, 7 losses, 1 bye. They sit on the exact... I hate that. Oh my God, I hate that. That's scary. And I believe it was round 14 last year. If I pull out the draw, I'm getting deep. I'm reaching here. I'm reaching. Round 14. Let's go round 14, 2025. Round 4. Oh my gosh. Far out. You're joking. Oh no. God, no. Oh, don't do it to me. Stop. Okay, so round 14 last year was a turning point, I would say, for the Broncos. It's when the Broncos debuted their awesome mental health jerseys. The black jerseys looked incredible. It was also against the Titans in round 14 last year. And it was a turning point of their season when they thrashed the Titans. They are now in the exact same position that they were last year. And according to what I just searched up, the Brisbane Broncos will wear their black mental health round jersey on Saturday, June 6, 2026. Round 14 against the Titans at Suncorp. So this is just PTSD. If I'm a Titans fan, I'm looking at this and going PTSD. Oh my gosh, if we beat the Broncos, they're not making the grand final or making the 8. But last year at Suncorp, it was on the 7th of June last year. It's on the 6th of June this year. This is red flags. Oh my gosh, I hate this. If the Broncos actually do this, it's a repeat of last year. So that's why I'm tipping against them. Okay, let's jump in. Let's talk about round 14. So, look, 6 out of 8 tips. Pretty good. We're back on it. Let's go. Manly South, Storm Knights, Milk Roosters, Cowboys versus the Finns, Broncos Titans, Tigers Panthers, Sharks Dragons, and Dogs versus the Eels. I've got Manly to beat South. I've got Storm beating the Knights. This will be the test, especially if Xavier Coates is back. Would love for him to be back. I don't know if he will start in first grade or a few will start in reserve grade or whatever. We'll see. Obviously, the Raiders to beat the Roosters at GIO. Would love to see that. I've got the Finns beating the Cowboys just because the Cowboys got rinsed by the Raiders. Hell yeah. And Dolphins are a pretty strong team. Broncos, Titans. Oh, like, I want to pick the Titans. And I will. But the fact that the stars are aligning to exactly what last year, I don't believe in superstition, but I kind of do. And if the Broncos smash the Titans, I'm concerned for the NRL because it is exactly where they were last year. I hope it doesn't happen, and I hope the Raiders actually start doing something like that because that would be awesome. But I just don't know. On the point of that, I just want to talk about points difference. Broncos were at positive 14 point difference. This might be the only difference that they were at after round 13. Yeah, negative 61 this year. Oh, that's not the same. Imagine if that was the same, I would be shivering in my boots. But I'm going to pick the Titans here just for the love of the game, just to rage bait all you Broncos supporters as well. And Josh Hannay, just a masterclass coming from him. If the Broncos win, I don't even want to think about that. They're not going to win. Tigers versus Panthers, Penrith to get the win there. Sharks versus Dragons. I think the Dragons... Oh, I was going to say Sharks, but you know what? Screw Cronulla. Let's go the Dragons. Dragons to beat the Sharks and start a run to make the top 8. Dogs versus Eels. I was going to pick Dogs, but I just don't like them, to be honest. So we're going to pick Parramatta. Bang. That's what you got. So yeah, that is round 14. Look, I think the Dogs will struggle with no Critter with the injury. The Dragons, obviously, they're going to go for a top 8 run now. Panthers are just Panthers. They'll pump the Tigers. The Titans, who are the Broncos? The Titans got this easy. Fins up to beat the Cowboys. Obviously, we're going full cream against the Roosters. If you don't know what that means, up the milk. Storm, they're back. Put it simple, they're back. And Manly just probably yes, they lost their second game with Foz as a coach on the weekend. But that's okay because they'll bounce back and they'll smash South. Simple as that. And there you have it. That is episode 73 of the What's on Sports podcast, the Pulse Check. And look, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the audio. And look, I will post an update on the studio. Maybe tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, I will drop. Wednesday afternoon, I will drop another video of how the studio is looking. But until then, stay out of trouble, guys. See you in the next episode. And we can't wait to talk more Origin next week. Much love, guys. See you later.